So, Mego, you are just like hard out because of the 3-point shot and the fact that Ben Simmons has attempted, I think you said negative 13 3-point shots over the last 3 seasons? Or is it just because everything about this guy, like, hasn't played a complete season since 2018-19, back in the day with the Sixers when it looked like he was truly a phenom? 17 points a game, 9 rebounds, 8 assists, steal and a half. Like, that was something special. Since then, hasn't played more than 58 games in a season, which is Porzingis-ian or Porzingis-esque, except Porzingis, when he's right over the last couple of years, never playing more than about 60 games in a season, is a complete game changer, a freak, a unicorn, and a superstar. Whereas Ben Simmons has seen his numbers go from 17 points a game, 16, 14, 7, 6, 6, and last season, 18 games played for the Clippers, 16 minutes a night. Ready for this, audience? 3 points a game, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. Yeah, let's go ahead and let everyone from our pal Mike O'Brien and beyond who operates duck boats know that come this June, it's going to be Ben Simmons sitting lead boat.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't think he fits with anything that you're doing. And maybe there will be a dramatic change in the way that the Celtics play basketball, but I don't see it. They're keeping the same coach. They have largely the same core. I know everybody's sad to see Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis leave, but even with Jaylen Brown, like if the offense is going through him rather than Peyton Pritchard or Derek White, I don't think the offense is going to look so dramatically different. They're going to be a different team, I believe, by the time they get to the fall, mostly because financially they still have some work to do to get clearly under the second apron, which seems to be the goal of theirs. But Ben Simmons doesn't really help you with that. Like if you, or help you aside from that, I should say. If you trade Anthony Simons straight up and take on Ben Simmons, or you bring Ben Simmons here in some way in Anthony Simons' place, it just, you're going to lose so much offense that you would have through Anthony Simons, and it would just look to me so much like a salary dump. And I think there's only so much that fans can take in terms of salary dumping when it's a player like Simmons who's just not going to do anything for you offensively.
Now, the Celtics are beneath the second apron as of right now, correct?
Last I checked, they were still slightly over it with Anthony Simons on the roster.
With Simons on the roster. Okay, so they still have to move one semi-significant contract to get underneath the apron and save themselves a collective couple $100 million, or one big old tax bill. And again, this is the kind of math that maths and gives us all a popsicle headache as well. People around here don't want to hear about second apron talk and luxury taxes, especially when the guy who just bought the team came in and purchased it for a paltry $6.1 billion. But I just wonder if they were to, if the interest in a Ben Simmons was real, Mego, and let's say they were to bring him aboard, what would that signal to you in terms of a style of play or just the overall approach of the 25-26 Celtics?
I think it would just signal to me that they feel like they're getting a great deal on this player. Like the way that people pushed back against the idea of Damian Lillard coming here when that looked like it was going to be a possibility was based on, hey, this is a guy who's in his mid-30s and he's coming off an Achilles. Why would you add another guy who's rehabbing an Achilles? But the argument in favor of that was that he could come off the bench and fit in really well with the style of offensive basketball that the Celtics play. And on top of all of it, you thought that maybe you'd be able to get him for under $5.6 million for next year because of the tax exemption. But with Ben Simmons, I think the only argument that you can make is that you could get him for the veteran minimum, and you think maybe he'd bolster something for you defensively. I think that that's just much lower on your scale of needs for the team. Like, you would only be going for him because he's cheap. That's really what it comes down to for me.
So this just in, a bit of a terp chirp from our old pal Justin Turpin. The Celtics right now are $332,000 over the second apron.
Yeah, just slightly.
The tiniest little sum, and a move like the waiving of J.D. Davison would be able to fix that because he's owed $2.27 million for one more year with the Celtics. You don't see him having any sort of role on the upcoming team, do you?
I mean, hard to say. He was the G League Player of the Year last year. Like, these things
so that's the thing.
Don't totally matter to people following the main team, but you know that he's made great developments through the franchise. Right. So I don't know if they want. Is he not
like the main Celtics all-time leading scorer?
Yeah, now? I don't know if you want to just like completely throw the baby out with the bathwater there.
Yeah, that's a pickle, being like a third of $1 million over, therefore entering yourself into the second apron, which is just such an annoying thing to have to contend with or talk about on the radio. Yeah, you don't want to toss out a guy like J.D. Davison as well. And I, like many, am fascinated to see if the Celtics continue with the style and approach that they have played with under Joe Mazzulla, or if they don't tweak it to this roster. You believe it's probably going to be something ultimately similar, especially if they hold. I imagine as well if they hold on to Simons as well, because he's a scorer and doesn't play a whole hell of a lot of defense, and he's a decent 3-point shooter, that would be the same. What do you make of the Celtics now? It's not official yet, but supposedly there is a verbal agreement, Mego, between Big Al, the buffet himself, everyday Al Horford, and the Golden State Warriors. I didn't think he was going to be coming back to the Celtics once Jason Tatum was hurt and they had to attempt to get under the second apron. I would say, given his second act with the Celtics, most fans would be so happy that he got a championship ultimately and that he got it in green and helped raise Banner 18, that there wouldn't be any acrimony or resent watching him go from East Coast to West Coast, Celtics to the Warriors.
No, I feel like even just among Celtics fans, I haven't talked to one person who said that they would have an issue with Al going anywhere, really. I could understand a little bit if you were aggravated if he ended up going to New York, the team that ultimately knocked you out of contention for your second championship, even back-to-back championship, even before Jason Tatum went out. But it was never going to line up with Al. Like, in terms of his age and the value that he can get per year, and this probably being the last contract that he's going to sign, although we keep saying that about Al Horford, contract after contract, because he ages so well, you can't hold that personally against him. I don't know how anybody would.
No, if he wants to go out west and wants to chase a championship in the highly competitive Western Conference and hook up with Jimmy Butler and obviously play with Steph Curry and, be a member of the Warriors, a team that he lost a finals to after an awesome game one a couple of years ago. Like, I don't hold it against him as well. Like, it was weird when he left a couple of years ago, signaling that there was some emotional turmoil possibly in the locker room after the departure of Kyrie when he went to Philly for a while. But coming back and being such a pivotal part of a championship team, I agree with you. I can't imagine that there'll be any Celtics that would regret or resent that. And one last one real quick. What'd you make of Marcus Smart getting waived by the Wizards and joining, of all places, the Lake Show? How do you think they are going to be one fascinating piece of train wreck or likely must-see TV, or maybe both intermittently, this coming season in that Wild West Conference?
I'm curious because Marcus was a polarizing guy at the end here. I always love Marcus Smart. I'm not going to back down from that. But I'm curious from Celtics fans. Like, if you felt that Marcus Smart was, you love and trust him, as Brad Stevens used to say, and now he's with the Lakers, do you still have the same animosity even in this gap year with the Celtics, waiting for Jason Tatum to come back, where you see Marcus Smart in a Lakers uniform and you go, like, it doesn't look right. He shouldn't be in that gold. Like, that's not okay. He shouldn't be playing on Kobe's team and on Magic's team. Like, that's sacrilege. Or do you chalk it up to Brad Stevens made the difficult trade to get Kristaps Porzingis here to help get the banner up, and now it's up for Marcus to do whatever he wants and to go wherever he wants, and he has that freedom because you let him get away. Like, for me, I kind of feel more towards the second part, and I didn't think it was realistic that he was going to come back here, even though I had my fingers crossed for it.
Yeah, him coming back would have maybe felt more like fan service, I guess. I'm sure he's still got some good basketball left in him, and I imagine they probably could have used his heart, hustle, energy, and effort. But once you trade away a Brad Marchand, we'll say Crossing Sports, I apologize, but they're not duty bound to return like, oh, thanks for letting me go somewhere else and win a championship, so I need to come back and honor some sort of agreement. And Marcus Smart doesn't owe the Celtics anything. He gave them everything he could for all those years, won Defensive Player of the Year once, came close, ultimately no title. It's a shame, kind of like when Nomar was traded away and didn't win one. That's a shame as well. But, if he wants to go play for the Lakers, it must be nice, though, to actually get paid a ton of money to not play for one team and then get paid a decent amount of money to go play for another one. It'd be interesting to see could you see possibly a guy like him adding that last something the Lakers need to get over the hump?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, all due respect, like, I love Smart. He's had a lot of injuries over the last couple years. He's 31 now. So much of his game was dependent on his physical tenacity. And you look out west, and it's just so stacked out there. Like the competition, they just cannibalize each other. If you're a team in the East, like the Hawks or like Cavs or New York, you're just so happy to be a player on one of those teams in the East because your shot at getting back to, or getting to the finals is just so much stronger than, being at any of those teams out west, even if it is the Lakers.